The worlds of magic and mutantdom are on a collision course, and it's going to take a very special group of mutants to avert disaster. All this is more in the pages of Excalibur issue number 3. Let's hop on in together and find out what happens next, shall we? Well, now this is fun. As the comic opens up, we're introduced to a brand new prospective member of the team, namely Richter. You'll recall this guy's deal is that he can essentially control seismic activity, but his powers have grown out of control recently, and he's afraid of stepping out the front door and not starting a massive earthquake. This has led to a far greater depression, as in a fun little excerpt from the mutant internet, we discover how everyone else is planning trips there and having so much fun, but poor Richter can't go because he's afraid that he's going to crack the entire island open. Also, mutants are treating this like Mardi Gras too, and many of them are stripping down before they even go into the portal. Man, X-Men got so horny again all of a sudden. Now back at the main story, we have our heroes who had made the trip to Otherworld at the end of the previous installment. Of course, things aren't going their way right now. Poor Shogo, Jubilee's baby, has turned into a dragon. How and why, you might be asking? Well, that's just sort of the way this magical world works, don't you know? Being a young human, his brain is filled with imagination, and the fairies and all the other things have just latched onto it. Basically meaning he could have been whatever he wanted, but he chose to be a dragon, and I guess they should all be thankful for that, because if nothing else, Shogo can offer them a ride into enemy territory. Of course, Gambit protests this means of conveyance. After all, they only came here in the first place to try and save Rogue, and how are they going to make things better if they keep putting other members of their team at risk? In a nice bit of comedy, Morgan Le Fay asks her human followers how this war with the witch breed, the changing of the Captain Britons, has affected the human news cycle, only to discover, yeah, no one's really talking about you, Morgan, as it seems that, well, everyone's talking about Krakoa. It's the hottest thing right now. It's blowing up on the socials. Now, the good guys having a dragon on their side proves perfect for an airdrop attack on Morgan's castle. Now, our hero's plan is very simple. In fact, it's incredibly simple. Have Shogo airdrop them on Morgan's castle, get on in there, stop this war before it can start, and save Brian. Of course, all this time away has only given Morgan Le Fay more opportunities to twist Brian's mind and turn him into her own personal Black Knight, complete with a slick new costume and a helmet that kinda grows and shrinks depending on what kind of mood he's in. It's in his enraged duel with his sister he starts mouthing off about death to the pretender, death to the false Captain Britain, only for Betsy to be like, look man, I didn't even want this job, I just took the power so Morgan Le Fay couldn't get it. I will happily give it back, you just have to, not kill me first, which would be nice. Now, to this point, we actually leave this story behind and see what's going on with Apocalypse. After all, he's the guy who's got his finger in a lot of these magical pies right now and is basically the one to blame for everything that's happening. He's still struggling to try and get a trustworthy, regular portal to Krakoa to open up in the Otherworld, which is hard because he needs special crystals to do that, and there's a finite amount of said crystals. Now, crystals are from the Earth, and if only he had a mutant who, could manipulate seismic activity and give him an endless supply of crystals like, Richter. In the end, though, old En Sabinur turns out to be exactly what Richter needs to get himself out of his funk. Oh, I'm sorry, are you depressed? Are you agoraphobic? Well, guess what? I'm Apocalypse, so get the hell up. We're going for a ride to Krakoa. Well, not directly to Krakoa, mind you. They have a little layover in Cornwall, England, because this is still very much an Arthurian legend-inspired magical tale. Also, hey, remember at the beginning of the video when I said no one in the world actually seems to care about the changing over of Captain Britain and everything that's happening right now? Well, I was actually wrong. Turns out MI6 and the Queen herself are actually quite worried about what's happened to Captain Britain, and because of that, they've dispatched, get this, Agent Pete Wisdom to deal with it. Wisdom you'll remember as a super spy, former love interest of Kitty Pryde, and also a former member of Excalibur, so he's got a lot of reason to try and deal with this problem as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Excalibur issue number 3, and I gotta give Teenie Howard credit for spinning so many different story plates at once here. The action's really solid. I mean, you'd have to be made of stone to not love the idea of laser swords clashing against ancient medieval magical knights. Once again, for 3 issues in a row, Apocalypse turns out to be the one who really steals the show, which is, kind of amazing for this third outing because he's only here at the very end. Bringing Pete Wisdom back is an inspired choice, as is showing that the British government is actually keeping tags on all the old members of Excalibur, which, hey, don't be surprised if Nightcrawler or some of your other favorites show up down the line. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 7.5 out of 10. Good stuff.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing me right now, it means you watched
at the end of the video, of which I will always be appreciative of. It really helps with retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. If you really like my work, you can check me out on social media. I have links down in the description of the video you're watching right now to all my different socials. I got the Twitter, I got the Instagram, I got the Facebook. I'm very easy to be reached, and if you follow me there, you can be the first to know about when a new video goes live. And with that, I will bid you all adieu. Bye-bye.